Let's talk prison food. From the overcooked beans to the meat patty that they call rice, chicken, beef, pork. Let's talk about all those things. Inmates don't eat based on flavor. Inmates eat based on survival. In prison, you get 3 trays a day. Some meals end up in the trash, and some meals end up in the stomach. There's a hidden economy in prison with food. There's food that you get from kitchen that's provided 3 days, 3 meals a day, and then there's the food that is through commissary. Commissary is where you purchase your food from a prison ran store, kind of like a Walmart or 7-Eleven. You place your order once a week, and then once a week you get to spend around $100 or so in commissary. Just like shopping at any store on the street, you have anything from Pepsi, soft drinks to chips, uh, summer dogs, ramen noodles, all those things. And it's just like a currency. Um, Honey buns and ramen noodles and sodas and are exchanged in a monetary basis, and that's how the stores and prisons operate. They operate on usually a time and a half or 1.5 times of what you get. So usually, if you get one honey bun, they want at least one half or one for one, and sometimes double time. Depends on where you're at and who's running it. The biggest problem is the guys that don't pay back their debts. And that's where people get hurt. That's where people have problems. There's a couple of things that you never want to do in prison. Number one is you don't want to gamble and you don't want to get in debt from store or gambling because that gets you hurt. That gets you really in a lot of trouble. So basically, a lot of guys use the store hustle as a way to make a living. You know, it's a means to an ends. It's a way to get something better. Because if you ever have seen a prison tray, or if you ever lived to eat one, you know how horrible it is. Usually, it has no flavor, no seasoning. It's just a bland meal. In the prison where I worked, the only good day of chow was Wednesday, was hamburger day, because it's pretty hard to screw up a hamburger. So hamburger day was the day that most people ate. Hamburger day was the day that everybody went, and that was your bargain day. You can get a lot of stuff for a hamburger. Um, so if you think about the human existence, you have to eat to survive in life. Um, and when you're locked down, you become very innovative on how to make meals in bulk. Different prisons call them different things. They call them a prison break where I work, where they took ramen noodles and summer dogs and cheese, and they put them on a big container, mix it up, and then microwave it for a long period of time, and then they all got portions out of it. It's like a big pot of let's just say you made chili at home or spaghetti at home that fed a lot of people. It's a similar concept. Now, in prison, sometimes they use an iron if they have it, and foil to make burritos. If they have like a coffee pot, they make soups out of in those. If they have trash bags, the big one is where you can take a whole lot of ingredients, put it in a trash bag, mix it up, heat it, and they eat it out of the trash bag. Um, if for some reason they had a hair dryer, uh, they would use something like that. But prison burritos, spreads, jailhouse cheesecake. Believe me, they come up with some of the most innovative ways to make food. I've seen them make a dough-like substance and then put the cheese and the summer dogs and make pizzas out of them. Um, there is a emotional thing about people eating together, and that's what happens in prison is they they eat together, break bread together, and it's kind of a way to cope during that whole process of being in prison. Um, I was in corrections for over 26 and a half years, pushing 27, and I've seen all kinds of things eaten. I've seen all kinds of things made. To a lot of people outside, they might think it's disgusting, but when you're inside, you're just trying to make your life comfortable. Um, and prison food is more than a meal. It's a it can be a currency, it can be a meal, but it also can be a setup. Because a lot of times people will set you up by giving you food and then you owe them something. So the concept of prison food is more than just the food. Prison food, from the aspect of the people that run the kitchens, is to feed, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people at the lowest cost possible. So you're not getting a gourmet meal in prison. People try to make it out that prison is easy and prison is these guys get all this stuff, but in actuality, they don't. They get the bare minimum as far as food. They're not getting luxury items. They're not getting steak and all these things that people try to make up and say that they get. They do not get that. Any luxury items they order, and then they will make their own combination of things. Um, and some prisons have special items they can order out of the kitchen. Uh, and if they're lucky enough to have money to do that, they do that. But in general, the majority of your population of prison inmates have to eat what's put in front of them. And people that are weak or poor, they suffer because the only food they're getting is the food that they're the three meals that are passed out that day. You know, this video is made right after Thanksgiving, and usually on Thanksgiving they're given um, their morning chow, and then at noon they're given their Thanksgiving meal, which is going to be the general turkey dressing, all that, and then in that afternoon or for their dinner they're going to get a bag lunch. So it's not like it's a whole bunch of luxury that they're getting. Prison food is horrible, I can tell you. It's worse than any um, hospital food or any kind of food that can imagine being bad. It's enough to keep you alive, and you don't want that. And if that's not enough to turn your stomach and to keep you away from prison, I don't know what it would be. Um, but the underlying aspect of it all is it creates a black market for the prison hustle, the underground store market, to where it's an economy of somebody being able to make a living with the hustle of running the store and making money and turning that and flipping that to where they're making a good living just running the store. Because if you can get one and a half, two times or more out of uh, a six pack of soda, then why wouldn't you do that? But the biggest problem that it causes is people that don't pay. And then that leads to violence. And that leads to people getting hurt. So it's a very complex um, situation in prison where prison food also turns into a security problem or an issue And if you've ever worked in a prison, um, and you go to the staff dining hall, usually there's inmates cooking your food and stuff like that in there. And then you've got to be mindful that some inmates will do stuff to your food and you may not want to eat it. So there's a whole complexity of issues that comes to the simple thought of prison food. Like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. And always remember, stay on the other side.